finally back up in the Mourne Mountains. The hike I'm doing today takes in kind of two peaks. I'm doing Meal Moor and Meal Beg, I think it's called. They're like the 6th and 7th highest peaks in the Mourne Mountains. The app I've read said they're kind of moderately difficult. Should take me about 3 hours, so shouldn't be too bad. It was absolutely lashing rain there about half an hour ago, but kind of seems to have eased off a bit. Hoping it stays clear for the rest of this hike anyways. Being well behaved with my gear today. I only have 2 cameras with me. I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually snowing there now. You really do get all sorts of weather up in this area of Ireland. But yeah, I have only 2 cameras with me today. I have my trusty Canon EOS 300, I think it's 300. Using that with the 35mm f2. It's really turning into my hiking camera, to be honest. It's so light. It's made of plastic, weighs nothing, and very cheap camera as well. So I don't mind bringing it out into conditions like this. Obviously you don't want it to get damaged, but if it does get a bit wet and something goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. I also have in my bag, excuse my breathing, still trying to get my first wind, but I also have an Olympus Myu II. This is actually my sister's camera, and she bought it new back in the 90s, so I think it's been pretty much sitting in a drawer for the last 20 odd years, and I managed to persuade her to let me take it out, see if it's still working, run a roll through it. Shooting colour film on both cameras. I think one is Kodak Ultramax in the Canon, and there's a Kodak Gold in the Olympus. So not really a day for colour, to be honest. It's pretty misty and murky. Probably more a day for black and white, but all I have is colour in these cameras, so I'm going to finish these 2 rolls. It's just crazy that it's snowing up here. This area of the Mourne Mountains is notorious for having all sorts of weather, even in the one day. So yeah, probably shouldn't be surprised when it starts snowing like 10 minutes into this hike. The visibility's pretty poor today, to be honest. It's pretty misty, a lot of low-lying cloud. I don't think it's going to be all that good a day for photography, unfortunately. I'm going to keep going, and I don't know, if it feels like it's getting a bit dangerous, I might call it off and just turn back, but I'm going to keep going for now. I suppose I haven't really introduced this project that I'm working on or why I'm doing it. In 2025, I have a goal of trying to work on more like projects and series, and trying to get myself, just coming up with ideas, taking time to work on those ideas and photograph them. And at the end, producing something physical, whether it's just a little zine for myself, which it probably will be, but I spent kind of years now just taking nice images or trying to take nice images. And I'm kind of at that stage now where I want to do something that's got a bit more depth to it. So why did I pick the Mourne Mountains? It's quite simple, really. It's an area of Ireland that I've never really been to before. I've never hiked up here before. This project is really the first time I've come up here and properly hiked in the area, which is nice. Ireland's quite a small place, and when you're into photography, it can be quite easy to kind of hit all the hot spots pretty quickly. So it's nice to be in an area that I haven't been before, seeing everything for the first time. So I thought that might be interesting for videos, because everything I'm showing you in these videos is me seeing it for the first time. By doing this project, it's given me that excuse to keep coming back here, to keep doing these hikes. And it's quite a vast area, lots of different hikes, lots of different peaks. So I don't think it's something that I'll be getting bored with anytime soon. The final reason is there's a couple of extreme hikes by Ireland standards anyways. There's two in particular, kind of extreme hikes you can do up in this Mourne region. I think both of them are like something around the 15-16 hour mark to complete, and I really want to build up to at least attempt one, if not both, of those hikes. There's one called, I think it's called the 7 Peaks. It's where you climb the 7 highest peaks in the Mourne Mountains. The second one is called the Mourne Wall hike. I haven't really spoken about the Mourne Wall. I suppose you can't really mention the Mourne Mountains without speaking about the Mourne Wall. So my last hike, I hiked above a reservoir, and that reservoir was built in the early 1900s, built by hand, which is pretty amazing. And back in those days they had no way of keeping the water clean, so what they had to do was try to prevent any animals from getting onto the mountains and the slopes around the reservoirs, so that their bodily fluids wouldn't end up in the water, or that they wouldn't die close to the water and contaminate the water. So what they ended up doing was building this wall. This wall is pretty amazing. Again, it was built by hand. I think it took something like 20 years to complete. I think it's something like 16 kilometers long, something like that. And I mean, there's parts of this wall that literally goes vertically up sheer cliffs. It's pretty amazing to see, and even the size of the rocks that are in the wall, you're talking about at least 3 or 4 men needed to lift these rocks into place. So the fact that they were able to build this wall is pretty amazing. It is something I want to work into the project a little bit. But yeah, there's a hike you can do that pretty much runs the length of this wall, and I think it's a pretty extreme hike. It crosses a lot of the highest peaks in the Mourne Mountains. It takes something like 16 to 18 hours to complete, and that is something I'd like to work up to attempt at some stage. I would like to start camping up here at some stage as well when the weather gets better. So maybe I could split some of these hikes into 2, do half one day camp and finish the hike on the second day. But eventually I do want to try to attempt to do one of those long hikes. I think that in itself could be an interesting little project to photograph, is everything you experience and go through while you're going through that torture. This is probably a ways off down the line. I would like to attempt it this year, maybe towards the end of the summer. I think it would probably be a good way to finish off the project. I'm sure if I did do it and complete it, I'd probably be so traumatized that I'd never want to see this place again. So probably a good way to finish the project. the Myu has actually been quite handy on this hike. Although the Canon is light, it's quite bulky with the lens on the front. So when I take it out of my bag, I have to kind of sling it around my neck, and it's just getting absolutely soaked from this kind of snowy rain that I'm having here. So the Myu is a lot handier because I can just keep it in my pocket, pull it out. If I see anything interesting, take a quick snap and back in the pocket where it stays nice and dry. So yeah, kind of happy I brought it with me, to be honest. So this is the famous Mourne wall I was just talking about. Yep. You can see there, it just pretty much goes up almost a vertical cliff wall there on the side of that mountain. It's an amazing bit of engineering, but you can even see the size of these rocks. Like, that's taken probably 4 men to lift that into place. It's pretty amazing, but this is my route up here, getting right into the thick of the cloud now, so visibility is not great, but keep going and see how I get on. Getting into the tough part of the hike now. Just do a bit of scrambling there down on my hands, but views have pretty much all disappeared. The cloud is closing in. To be honest, hasn't been that bad though. I know there's a lot of snow, but it's been no real wind, and it's the wind that makes these experiences kind of horrible. It's actually been quite pleasant. You get that kind of eerie silence that you get with snow. It's so quiet up here, but you can feel that fresh air in your lungs. Yeah, it's actually been quite pleasant. I think I'm getting close to the top of Mourne, I think. Might have to check that. But yeah, it's been quite enjoyable. Not really a whole lot to photograph though. I do have the wall here beside me. The good thing about the wall is that it's very hard to get lost on these mountains because you just follow the wall, and you can almost use it as a handrail on some of the harder parts and use it to help you pull yourself up. But yeah, going to keep going. Hopefully get to the top soon. Looks like the Myu has died, unfortunately. I don't know if you can see there, but the lens is just, it's not going back into its cover. Making plenty of noise, but it's just not closing up properly. I'm not sure. Obviously it has been used a long time, so that could be it, but maybe it's the cold up here. Didn't think it was that cold though. But yeah, it's not looking good. I've also finished the film that I had in the Canon, the Kodak Ultramax. It's gone, so I do have one roll of Ilford XB2 with me, so I'll probably throw that in. So it'll be all black and white pictures from here on, but I've made it up to this little shelter. This was built by the men who were building the walls. just to give them a little bit of shelter from the elements. But you can see there, built in 1921. A little bit too dark in there, but all it is just a little bit bench on the back wall where you can take a break. I'm almost at the top of Mourne. I just need to cross this sty, follow the wall that direction. That should take me to the peak of Mourne, and then continue on from there to the peak of Myu II. So I'd say I'm about halfway now. And yeah, enjoying the hike so far. And if you can see there, I've just hit 20,000 steps. Happy days. I almost missed it, but that's the top of Mourne right there. So that's peak number 1 done. Happy with that. I think this is the bigger of the two, so now I just gotta continue on along with this wall, and it should lead me to Myu II, which is somewhere over there. I was just about to say that things are going quite well on this hike. It's quite enjoyable, but just off in the distance there, you can't actually see it now. The cloud is closed in again, but yeah, it's quite a steep incline coming up ahead if I want to reach the top of Myu II. I'm starting to think these names are misleading. Mourne in Irish means big, so you'd think that was the bigger mountain. Biog means small, but it looks like it's the other way around. I think Myu II is going to be the tester on this hike. It's quite tricky on these downward parts. Obviously the snow is quite slippy. I'm going to have to invest in a pair of cleats or spikes or something. But yeah, it's kind of slow going. I have to take my time, use my hands a bit, but it's not too bad. There it is, my nemesis, Myu II. Nothing small about it, unfortunately, but I'm just kind of down in a little valley between the two mountains here. I don't know if I'm just below the cloud or if it's the weather's starting to clear up a bit, but starting to get some views. It's quite nice over there. Yeah, looks like the cloud is kind of coming and going. There doesn't seem too much cloud up there now, so hopefully you get some nice views from up there. Just getting some nice views coming in and out between the clouds. But yeah, this one's starting to test me. I knew I wouldn't get away that easy. And it's one of those, like, you think, oh, the peak is just up ahead, but that mountain just keeps rolling on upwards into those clouds. Oh, fingers crossed, I'm nearly there. It's been a really nice day though, really nice hike. Really liking these conditions. Not a whole lot of photos I can take, to be honest. There's only so many pictures you can take of this wall disappearing off into the mist before it gets a bit boring, so I'm hoping to I'll reach this peak up here, and then I have to double back on myself back down this trail down to the bottom of the valley there, swing it left. Hopefully I'll be below the clouds then, and there might be a few more images I can take along the way. But for now, the struggle is real. I made it the top of Mourne Mountain, and there he is. Absolutely no views whatsoever. Completely closed in. Still, I'm glad I made it. Mourne Mountain, an enjoyable hike. Would recommend. Now I just need to make my way back down the way I came, back along that wall, down to the bottom of the valley. It should be all downhill from here, so. But yeah, Mourne Mountain was a nice little long buster to finish off the hike. Just made it back down to the little valley in between the peaks. Starting to make my roundabout journey back to the car, but just getting down below the clouds now. Treated to some really nice views. Not sure how well you can see it on the screen, but there's a really nice kind of contrast between the snowy conditions I'm having up here on the peaks, and then you're looking down the valley to where there's no snow and it's nice and green. That's a pretty epic view. Yeah, really not sure if you can make it out all that well on the camera, but it's really nice from up here. Might try and grab a quick image or two here. Hopefully it looks okay on black and white. Slowly making my way out of the snow-capped part of this mountain, back down onto normal ground. Quite mucky, this part of the mountain. To be honest, not a whole lot of interest to shoot. I'm not sure if I'll be taking many more images on this trip, to be honest, but yeah, just keep trucking on. I probably have another, 45 minutes maybe till I make it back to the car, so maybe something might present itself along the way. Okay, so in the home straight now, nearly back at the car, so I'll probably sign the video off here. Really enjoyable hike. Didn't get rained on, did get snowed on, but snow's okay. Didn't get rained on, no wind. So all in all, yeah, pretty enjoyable day. I think I might have got a few images that worked well. Yeah, and I just feels good to have done a little bit more work on this project. But yeah, I think I'll sign the video off there. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope to have another video out on this series in the not too distant future. So thanks for watching.